With You and the Rain is a very relaxing and beautiful anime where we have our main character Fuji that in the middle of the pouring rain she encounters a tanuki that is passing himself off as a dog, and he managed to convince her to adopt him, where that is becomes a very slice of lifey type of anime. Take him to the bed, taking him to the park, talking with the neighbors, getting visited by friends and family, and very slice of life. There's not necessarily an overarching plot. But like I said in the beginning, first, this is a very beautiful anime. They really went all out there with many of the sceneries, the background, and everything, and especially the rain, because the rain is a very central part of this anime. So when they do the whole water drops, the little puddles on the ground, and when they do the whole slow motion of the rain stopping in mid-air, super beautiful. And not only that, but like I said, also this is very relaxing anime. So be very careful if you watch this anime in the middle of the night, because you might accidentally fall asleep. Because this anime, not only with the soundtrack, because the soundtrack or OST of the anime, it gives you a very relaxing and calm feeling. But our main character Fuji also has a very a soft spoken tone of voice that is kind of like an ASMR sometimes, where you just gives you a very calm feeling. So yes, very beautiful and relaxing anime. And let me just move on to the characters now. First, let's talk about with the Tanuki. The Tanuki carries this anime. Without him, this anime would not work, because even though that the Tanuki does not have any speaking role, he is still so very expressive with the animal noises, the way that he moves his body, body communication, the way that they put the whole blushes and stuff, and when he is scared, the way that he shivers. And the Tanuki is so very expressive, but not only with his body movement, but also by writing, because the Tanuki knows how to write on paper and communicate with Fuji. And Fuji just thinks the Tanuki or the dog, because she thinks it's a dog, she thinks that the dog is just was well trained by the previous owner. So yes, Fuji has a very simplistic way of thinking. But moving on from the Tanuki, let's talk about Fuji herself. Now, Fuji is the type of person that she is somewhat interesting to watch, but she very much moves at the beat of her own drums. She has a certain way of enjoying life and enjoy certain hobbies and stuff. So she is very complex. But let me just say that I never would thought that I would say this for any anime. But Fuji is not waifu material. It's sad to say, because, like I said, Fuji moves at the beat of her own drums, and I think that she is good at small doses. You can completely have her as a friend, visit her and talk to her once in a while, once every other week or something like that. But imagine myself having to spend time with her day after day after day. It would be just simply exhausting, because I don't think that she's capable of meeting somebody halfway. If she has a certain way of enjoying something, I don't think that she's capable of compromising, because for one instance, let's say my biggest red flag with her is that ever since her school days, she has these two best friends, and they always invite her to go to the beach together. And she always refuses, and instead she just goes to the beach by herself, because she says, "Oh, I just have my own unique way to enjoy the beach. I don't necessarily go play on the sand. I don't necessarily go into the water. I just simply sit there, maybe read a book, and watch the view." And there's nothing wrong with that. If that's your way of enjoying the beach, I don't care. But having years and years and years of her friends inviting her, and she constantly refusing, never going at least one time. And it's just a red flag for me, because how do you know that you're not going to enjoy something if you have never even done it once? Who knows, maybe she I have gone with her friends to the beach at least one time. She couldn't have enjoyed it as much as when she goes by herself. So people that cannot meet somebody halfway, people that says that they don't like something even though they have never done it before, to me it's just a red flag. It just tells me that she's not able to meet somebody halfway, she's not able to compromise. If I go manage to marry her, have children, and I say, hey, let's have our family vacation together and go to the beach, is she going to refuse and say, no, you go, I go by myself another time? So it's just a red flag for me. But she's very kind, even though that she never admits it herself, saying that I'm not kind-hearted. I only adopted the Tanuki, which she thinks is a dog, only because he told me to adopt him, because he managed to do it in writing. But she's a kind person. Even though that she has a very weird way of expressing herself sometimes, she's very kind. She just, for some reason, she doesn't think she's kind. I don't know why. And that's why I think that it's the Tanuki that carries this anime all, very much does the heavy lifting, because Fuji, even though that she's very interesting to watch, by herself not so much. But let me just end it here and just give you my score. And I am going to give this anime a score of 8, an 8 out of 10. The animation, the soundtrack, the pretty much the Tanuki, all the side characters, everything what can manage to combine to give me a very enjoyable feeling. And like I said, don't make the same mistake that I did when I watched this anime in the middle of the night. So let me end it here. So have a good day, have a good night, wherever you're from. See you next video.